Hello, this is Uncle Jim, and I thought I'd give you a backstory on the previous video called I Still Love You, Baby. And it was kind of emotional for me, and why I chose the lyrics, because the lyrics have something to do with what happened. It wasn't so much about the Foxtrot mics that I was using as a test dummy to see if I could still group and if it was still quiet with a broken can. Okay, I got a baffle strike um, a few days prior, and I was troubleshooting, and I wanted to see if the can was still quiet and still grouped. And it showed that it was promising, and it still grouped, and it was still quiet. If you see when I was shooting offhand at 65, it was dead on quiet, sounded the same, and according to the groups, using a red dot, it was still grouping just fine. All right, so that's why I chose the lyrics for that, because I still love you, baby. This is my old Octane 9 can, and I've messed it up twice now. The first time I shot a 45 ACP through my 9 can, and this is forever on my reloading room wall, appropriately placed. Oh, yes. And that is now a 9mm when it used to be a 45. So, years ago, I contacted the company and told them I blew out my first baffle using a 45 in my 9 can. And the reason is my 45 and 9 can use the same fixed adapters, okay? And pistons, okay? So in haste, I grabbed my 9 can that was already had the threading for 9 on it, and I should have taken that off, so I knew. And I thought I had my 45 can here because they're very similar. The 45 is just a little bit longer. Other than that, I just grabbed it out of the safe and I shot a 45 through my 9 can. So Silencer Co. gives you a one-time anything stupid warranty, and they fixed it. And if it wasn't for the weekend, I got it back in 3 days. And not only did they fix the first baffle or replace it, they just gave me a whole new baffle stack and a brand new end cap. And that, to me, was awesome service. So this week, I got my first kind of baffle strike doing it legit in 9mm on a pistol. And I think it had something to do with I shoot this can so much in a fixed barrel with a fixed adapter. Inside this can is like this little squirrel cage here. And see those notches? That is where your piston, which you would use on a tilting barrel, any barrel that moves, like a John Browning design pistol barrel that moves when it shoots. This is like a shock absorber, so you got to use it on pistols with a moving, anything with a moving barrel. And it just acts like a shock absorber so you don't rip the threads off your barrel while you're shooting it, okay? And it goes in here. Now, my theory was that I shoot this so much out of rifles that I got this cage so dirty that when this piston went in and met up with the flat on the inside, it was slightly off, even though the threading is perfect. And this is on a pistol barrel I've used for years with this can, with the same loads I use, reloads, my pet loads. And so I knew that wasn't it. Something was funky. And I ripped off a piece of baffle here. And so the previous video was just to see if it's still grouped and it was still quiet. And yes, it was. And it still grouped fine for me with the red dot anyway. And it was dead on at 65 offhand, and it was super quiet. So I talked to my son and I'm like, should I just keep shooting it this way? It's working fine, and then just clean the cage out. This is non-serviceable for the user. They have a special tool that takes that little cage out. Just clean it really good, maybe soda blast it, and maybe we're fine. But he's like, why don't you contact Silencer Co. and see if they'll do you huge again, even though you used up your one-time screw-up warranty. And so I called them this morning. Oh, I do want to say this. In that video, singing and the music, Cranky's wife loved that video. And I want to tell Cranky, I love your wife. She's awesome. She gets me. Just give her a hug for me, okay? All right. All right, continuing. All right, so I was traumatized. It was an emotional video for me. And because I blew up my suppressor again, kind of. Actually, this is a super strong can. When I shot a 45 through it, all it did was make a bigger hole on the first baffle, and everything was fine. But they totally rebuilt it and gave me an end cap and everything. So, all right. This time it has to be the piston. So I called the company, and this is why when you buy a can, there's so many fly-by-night companies out there. You don't know if they're going to be around in 10 years. This can is ancient, all right? And as a matter of fact, when I called the guy, they answered the phone right away, and he was so good. And I talked about everything, my theory and everything about it. I told him I already did a screw up here and used up my free warranty on being an idiot. And he said, you know what, it's not going to matter. Just send it in and we'll fix it for you. It shouldn't cost you anything. And I hope that's true, and I'll give you a feedback on that. He said, yeah, don't worry about it. So that's why you stick with the company that's going to be around. Now, they couldn't find my suppressor in the database because it's so old. This is actually an SWR who merged with Silencer Co. Henry designed this can. He is now Rugged. Papa's is now Ghost. Is it Ghost? Whatever. They split off when they got new management. It's political and bureaucratic, and it kind of went downhill, but it sounds like their service is still good. All right, so I called him up, I explained it to him, and I asked him, I said, could a piston, when the cage gets really dirty, make it off-center enough to get a baffle strike? And he goes, I've never heard that problem before. But after I explained to him that it works great on fixed barrels, and I'm having a problem with the barrel I've used forever, he said that could be plausible. So send in the piston with it, and we'll troubleshoot everything for you and clean it all up and fix it, whatever. So I thought that was great service. When they did this one, they had it back to me in 3 days, if it wasn't for the weekend. So hopefully when I send this in, I'll get it back in a week or two. No hurry. But this is why you stick with a company that's going to be around. A lot of these suppressor companies aren't going to be around in 10 years. They had to look up, they asked for my dealer because they had a hard time finding this one in their database, even though I sent it in once. And my dealer is out of business now. He sold me all the cans, and he was, a great dealer. He's out of business. So you got to think about that, when you're doing a tax stamp, you want that company to be around and take care of you, and it sounds like they will. So let me show you what happened. And I'm rambling, but that was very emotional for me because I broke my old love, my first real centerfire pistol can, and we're still in love and we're still going to be in business. Now, I could use it like this, but I might as well have it fixed, okay? And if it's free, all it costs me is the shipping there. They'll ship it back free. And that's my bad. I already used up the warranty. So I'm going to end the video and I'm going to show you um, the broken baffle here. I mic'd all the rest of them and they look good. So it's a super tough can. I mean, I shot a 45 through this thing and it only enlarged the first hole. So I can't remember where this baffle was because you can put them anywhere you want. But I'm guessing it was at the end. I should have kept track of that. And so here is what, and then we'll end the video because I'll probably not be able to zoom out and I don't want to edit. So here is what the broken one looks like. See how it's broken on the side there on the cone? And that's a regular looking baffle. These are heat treated stainless steel. So they're very hard, which makes them brittle. I mean, otherwise I could have peened this back, but it just broke off. Okay. And it still works perfect on a fixed barrel. Okay. So maybe if I clean the cage, and I'm going to put a note in there to have them clean it because they have the tool to take this cage off. And they say that the user shouldn't mess with that. Just clean it the best you can. Little wire wheel on a cordless, something like that. I don't know. But I noticed it was very stiff going in, but it did clock properly. Once it's screwed on your gun, what I do is I keep the logo of the can to the right and I keep my baffles all this way. See that little notch? It's all that way. So my impact's the same. Every time I put a can on a gun, I know that is all lined up perfect. And I love that about this can. These I just throw in a wet tumbler with pins and they clean up really good. Okay. So there is the backstory to the last video. I hope I didn't bore you. I hope I educated somebody that is getting into cans or whatever. Get a reputable company and get high quality, and you want heat treated stainless steel on any can. Unless it's a rifle can, they're different. They're welded together and everything. But the reason is cleaning. You're going to be cleaning, especially 22 cans. My gosh. And I will not buy an aluminum 22 can. It might be lighter, but it's going to be a pain to clean. We're talking caked on lead. All right. I hope that explains everything. And I want to give kudos to the company for still backing me up after everything. Until next time, thanks for watching.